Hey guys, so I already made a video talking about Fairgraves Curse and how it functions, and I did promise to make a full build guide video, but I really did not want to continue playing this build. The damage can be okay, but the playstyle, I just did not like the playstyle at all. Main issue was the delay. It plays similar to Explosive Arrow in Path of Exile 1, but it's worse. Somehow it's worse. If you want to play Ignite build, you would expect to be dealing damage with Ignites, but I almost never do Ignite damage. Most of the time the Ignite damage is stored for later, and that later is when enemies die. And then explosion happens, and that explosion will hit the other enemies and most likely either ignite them and then store the damage, or just gonna defeat the enemies and that's it. So ignite is almost never happening, and even against the bosses you can ramp up the ignite damage, but in most cases there are so many bosses that have different like phases, or just become immune to damage for a short time, and during that time usually is when your spectral fire would explode and try to ignite, but nothing happens. And there's also a beast race which can be very annoying, and very often just in general this delay feels really bad. And I do have a bow with pretty good rolls, and it even has reduced delay for spectral fire. It's 6.4 seconds rather than 8 seconds. I think this duration should be like 5 seconds as a base, and then you could corrupt it to even lower it even more, or to actually increase it, because increasing this delay has a purpose. I'm gonna leave Path of Building import code with this build. This is Titan. The main reason why Titan, because 50% increased effect of small passive skills. That way I can get a reduced skill effect duration, which affects only the Phantasmal Arrow explosion delay. It makes it shorter, and I did get quite a lot of AoE for attacks. However, the spectral fire is not an attack, it's not a spell, it's non-scalable damage, it's not affected by player stats in any way. You can still debuff enemies, however it's non-scalable damage, and it doesn't scale with AoE, so it's just very awkward. Even if you have big attack AoE, the explosion from spectral fire is going to be smaller, it's going to be delayed, it won't scale with anything else from you, and it is pure fire. You cannot really poison, you cannot really bleed with Blood Mage, but you can still do that with Phantasmal Arrow itself. I'm actually, by the way, using Fiery Death support inside Phantasmal Arrow, and I swap it to Searing Flames tier 2 for single target. This Fiery Death works really well, and I really like how this looks. The Fiery Death support is probably the best part about this build, but even then it's not great, because if ignited enemies die, they have 60% chance to explode, dealing 10% of their life as damage. I believe you can scale this, because this one is a spell and it does have cast time, so unless you have cast speed, skill speed, it does not appear to increase this. So only cast speed, because it's not a skill, it's a support. I don't know how this works, but skill speed does not appear to increase this cast time, and the explosion happens after 1 second. Unless you have cast speed to lower this delay, so that's another delay on top of this. However, if enemies are kind of slowed down or bunched up together, this works really well, the Fiery Death, and that helps with the clear quite a lot, because those explosions hitting enemies are not attacks, and you only apply spectral fire with attack hits. This Fiery Death can explode and hit enemies and ignite, although I don't really notice that happening very often. But yeah, this helps quite a lot. But I think our idea how to play this would be the initial hit to either poison or bleed. You could do poison, there are unique gloves that allows all damage to contribute to poison magnitude, but then you would want a generic way of scaling both poison damage and ignite damage at the same time, which is basically requiring you to scale everything with the attack damage, with the hit damage rather than ailment damage. So the poison magnitude would be weak, and you most likely would end up with much weaker ignite magnitude and not very good poison magnitude. Others suggested to use Infernal Legion Companion. I'm not sure how that scales, but you would probably have to invest heavily into Companion life, and instead of getting ignite magnitude for yourself or fire damage for yourself, and then tagging enemies with some kind of attack, even with this attack. But then what's the point of having that if you can make good Infernal Legion damage? Why even have this and delay your damage? You could just clear with the Infernal Legion instead, because this does not clear well. This delay just feels bad. And I do have reduced skill effect duration, but I am not using less skill effect duration support. I do weapon swap into this unique spear, which allows me to aggravate, ignite. Aggravate means 100% extra damage, that's it. So usually I even try to aggravate the ignite that is being ramped up, but my ignite duration is about 2 seconds now, 2.18 seconds ignite duration, because I am using Black Flame Ring, so enemies are taking Hair's damage instead of fire, but I'm still dealing fire damage. But I do not have intelligence for any of the courses. I only have 12 intelligence, so I cannot really use Stem Chain, I cannot really use Despair, I cannot even use Time of Need, which would be very nice. And on top of that, this unique bob also has a reduced life recovery rate. Sadly, this is corrupted to be even more negative than 30%, but I already don't have good recovery. I don't have leech. I do have some recoup from physical damage prevented, and this is stacking armor. This is like 11,000 armor. It's not that great. And I do have armor applies to elemental damage. So this felt actually tanky, and I did manage to level quickly, but recovery feels really bad on this. I don't have leech, and I even took recoup hoping that it would help me with the recovery, but I was able to do tier 15 maps. It just was not fun. I would not recommend to play it like this. Maybe figure out something different, or just completely ignore this unique. Maybe it will get buffed in the future. It still is bugged. If you add any extra amount of projectiles, your projectile distance just becomes pretty much melee. And I do have Quiver. You see that? You see what happened? I do have Quiver that has a chance to add 2 additional projectiles while moving. You just, instead of shooting where you aim, you just shoot near your feet instead of where you aim. So it's very annoying. And Arrow Nova would actually be pretty nice for a hit-based build. These overlap, and it's kind of shotgunning, but I don't think that this is very pleasant playstyle. In that case, then why do you even need ignites? What's the purpose of the ignites for this nonsense then? Instead, you could just swap for a rare bob and probably do a more successful either ignite or hit based build. One more thing, the Black Flame Ring, Dark Effigy does not work with the Black Flame Ring. Enemies ignited are taking Hair's damage, but the damage is still a fire ignite debuff, I guess. And Dark Effigy is a totem that shoots extra Hair's projectiles. Only works with the Hair's damage over time debuffs on enemies. And I guess this does not count like that. And I assume same thing would be for the Contagion support. It does require enemies to be debuffed with the Hair's damage over time debuff. And this is not Hair's damage over time debuff. This is fire damage over time debuff that does Hair's damage to enemies. Like, I don't know, go figure. All of my gear are from level 65. When I started mapping, I bought all the gear thinking maybe I will upgrade them later, but I didn't like the build. I did not try to upgrade my gear, so this could be improved quite a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I already started the next build. The next build will attempt to do PV1 style auto bomber. It's probably not gonna be good, and I will probably make a video about the experience trying that build, but I will most likely rework that build into something slightly different. So yeah, for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.